So here with our Tuesday morning Inspire Hour, and I was inspired by last night's Inspire Hour, and we were talking about feelings and identifying feelings and defining feelings. And that led me to think, how would you define inspired? Like if you're feeling inspired. I feel like inspired is one of those words that you know it when it happens, but if you actually had to define it or explain it to someone. So I looked it up, and the definition that I resonated with most is filled with the urge or ability to do or feel something, especially to do something creative. So, filled with the urge or ability to do or feel something, especially to do something creative. And I guess I picked up immediately on the word urge. So, you know, that feeling of not needing to do it, but being compelled to do it or having that desire to do it. So I was thinking, sometimes there are things in our lives that are routine and that need to get checked off the list, but we don't necessarily have that urge or desire to do it. And then, like, that missing piece there is how can we get inspired to do it? And that's going to be my focus for this week. If I don't feel like doing something, right? If I don't have the urge to do it, how can I get inspired to do it? So, welcome, Nancy.
Good morning. Sorry, my internet was all wonky and I couldn't get on, but
No
I'm
worries.
here now. Yeah.
You want to share a celebration and an intention?
Sure. I'm going to celebrate that yesterday I got to hang out with my hiker biker chicks and we got a 15-mile bike ride in. Felt so good, except for my butt. And my intention for this hour is to do my gratitudes and devotions and catch up on my habit tracker.
Awesome. So last night on Inspire Hour, we were talking about feelings and, defining feelings and understanding them a little bit better. So I thought, well, I feel like inspired is one of those feelings that you know when you're having it, but I don't know that I could easily define it or explain it. So I'm going to put this in the chat, but I looked up a definition, and this one says inspired, filled with the urge or ability to do or feel something, especially to do something creative. So I was sharing with Becky that the word that popped out at me immediately was urge, right? That like actual desire to want to do something. And how sometimes in life there are things that you just don't feel like doing. And I was going to think about, okay, well, how can I get inspired to do this? Like, how can I create that urge or desire to do it? So that's where we sort of were when you popped in. So just wondering if anybody has any thoughts about that.
Hi, Becky. Could see the sunrise there for a minute. She's so cute. So yeah, when I popped in and I heard you talking about that, and I was like, oh yeah, so often, like, especially the things that, kind of need to be done, like dusting after 6 months. Yeah, the urge to do that. Ooh. So so what's your tactic? Like, how do you plan on shifting?
So one of the thoughts that I had was having separate to-do lists. So having the to-do list of things that like I actually really want to do and am interested in, which is pretty plentiful and takes up, like if I have time and I go to that list, I can always fill the time. And then the list of things that sort of always get pushed to the bottom of the list because there's other things I'd rather be doing. So I
Uh-huh.
thought I could set aside some time every day for the other list and what could be, so I'm still thinking and would love ideas. What could be a way to get inspired to do that? And maybe it could be some sort of um, like reward for it or some sort of celebration or something to make it more um, exciting and fulfilling to. I mean, don't get me wrong, checking it off the list and being like, whew, that one's done is definitely, um, celebratory. But is there anything else I can do to help get inspired to do those
Yeah.
things?
I love that idea of um and like giving yourself a reward, like when I get 3 done, then I get to whatever, or something like that. Um, another thing that another idea I have is the idea of and this can be kind of fun too, because it's about energy, right? When you have an urge, that there's a level of energy that comes with that. And so what came to mind for me is doing the opposite emotion and energy for how you feel about it. So, like, yes, I get to dust right now. This is going to be so much fun, right? You know, and it builds your energy up about it, and just see if that shift. I'd be curious if
Yeah,
that's
hold
works
that
for
thought
any.
because I actually have something to say on that. But we
Okay.
are 11 past, so everybody go do your intentions and we'll meet back and talk more about that. And we have some time left, and we were talking about how can we get inspired to do those things that are on the other to-do list, the more like have to do's, not the want to do's. And you were starting to share about changing your mood to make the activity more fun. And it immediately made me think of Mary Poppins and how she says, in every job that must be done, there is an element of fun. Find the fun, and then the job's a game. And I
Yeah.
was thinking, like, where do you find the fun in some of those activities? And sometimes, for me, I use music. So I feel like if there's music that I enjoy and it becomes, more fun that way, or, and this seems silly, but it definitely works. Sometimes I like tell the dogs what I'm doing. So I'll make it like a conversation with them as if like they're totally like understanding what I'm saying,
Yeah.
um, and just adds a little bit of fun. So
Yeah.
I wondered, like you were sharing about just sort of um, using a fun tone or way to sort of talk about the chores, and I wondered if like you had any other ideas or anything else that you do to liven those things up.
Yeah. Um, so another thing, yeah, I love all that. I love the whole Mary Poppins thing. I'm gonna remember that one. And another thing that I sometimes do is like, I'll invite my mother-in-law over to help me, right? She's getting older, so, like, helping is a little less, um, uh you know, but I invite her for, like, she enjoys the conversation. And
Mhm.
so it's, like, just slow down, be with her, still get the job done. It doesn't have to be like, "Oh, I have to do this," but instead we're doing it together. That's something that we've always found, like, when she wants to clean out her kitchen pantry, she'll be like, "It's so much more fun when we do it together." So then I go help her clean her kitchen pantry, stuff like that. So I think that that's another one. I love the talking to the dog too. Sometimes I'll like talk, and I don't know where it comes from, but all of a sudden I'll be like talking in a British accent, which I can't do if you ask me to do it, but I'll be talking in like this, um, or like Smeagol from, whatever that storyline is. I'll like all of a sudden I'll just have this voice that comes out and I'll be like, oh my gosh, that's funny. So then I keep talking that way, especially with Piper. I'll do that. Yeah.
I'll do that with the boys too. And
Yeah.
they'll always be like, "Why are you Southern all of a sudden?"
Yeah. Yeah. So that can be fun.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, good ideas. Is there something on your list this week that you're kind of dreading?
I think it's, it tends to be like I want to do all of the fun, creative aspects of um, business. And then when it comes to the other things, like, um, like I'm working on my website, and it's like I have a great vision for it and it looks beautiful in my mind, and then actually like sitting down and doing it feels like a heavy um like a burden almost. And I'm just like trying to find ways to liven it up a little bit. And and it's like I'm always happy with the outcome.
Mhm.
Or the other thing I was thinking about, this past weekend, I did a craft fair, and I'm always excited to set up because I love like being thoughtful about where everything goes and trying to create like an experience. But then when you're all done and you have to pack everything back up, and it's like, ugh, I
Yeah.
knew this was coming. um,
Yeah. So what I really picked up on you saying was that, you love the creative aspect
mhm,
of things. And so, yeah, both of the things that you said you kind of dreaded were, I'm like, boy, they're very creative.
mhm,
So I wonder if there's a way to kind of think about, the packing up from the craft fairs, like, how can I get creative with this? Like, what's a way I could.
mhm. And I actually did that um a little bit. I thought, because I have my tent and then I have my tables and my chair, just some miscellaneous things, but then I have 3 bins. And I thought, I bet that, because there were some things that I didn't end up using, and I thought, I bet I could pack this up in a way where I can leave one of these bins next time, because I'm doing another show in 2 weeks. So I
Okay.
thought, how can I creatively pack this so that next time I only have to bring 2 bins?
Yeah.
So there was a little bit of trying to be creative with that.
Yeah.
Um,
Hmm.
and then there's always like the housework,
Yeah.
laundry.
Yeah, yeah. Yep, I hear you. I've got a room upstairs that needs to be organized, and that was the one that I'm like, "I'm just inviting your mom over, and we're gonna do this," you know?
Mhm.
So I got, like, 3/4 of it done, one day, and now it's, kind of more the putsy stuff that I gotta actually figure out a place for it to go and, stuff I'm keeping and stuff. But man, that shift of energy and also knowing when we need the grace um, to also be okay with not taking our time there.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we are